Collective, hey, what is going on? Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you this evening. I hope you're doing well as always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy for the upcoming week via the tarot astrology, any channeled messages that come through. And I'll also incorporate some Ayurvedic or holistic wellness practices that can really just strengthen, enliven our optimal well-being, mind, body, and soul. So let's get into it. Let me start with this. As I was preparing for this reading, I was hearing things are in motion. There is momentum that's happening. But I was hearing that we want to make sure that we're still not making rash decisions, that they need to be methodical. They need to be calculated on some level. They need to be understood, especially when it comes to receiving certain results. Things are going to be pretty quiet moving into the beginning of the week astrologically. I feel like we're still on come down from that full moon in Aquarius last week. And thankfully, there is some peace and calm to start things out. However, it does kind of amplify up again end of the week when Venus moves into Libra. Venus in Libra is definitely highlighting partnerships, relationships. So the places that we were seeing challenge, tension, opposition during this full moon this past week, wherever you're kind of seeing certain things in your life that need to be taken a look at, a second look, a third look, however many times that is, things that need to be looked at. It definitely were highlighted last week. And I feel like as we're kind of processing, making peace with what those things are, making peace with kind of like the actions that we have to take or the movements that we have to take accordingly is really going to continue to enliven as we're moving through this week. And I feel like there is going to be some challenge that comes in. We're seeing it astrologically. There's a lot of tension. I feel like there's going to be a calling out in relationships, kind of either those climaxes, come to Jesus moments where things have to be laid out on the table, where there needs to be some honest conversation, honest discussions, so there can be better understanding on what the expectations are moving forward. We're also in Leo season, which is a very proud energy, in the way that it likes to have people think of it in a positive light. It has certain, rules, principles for self, and some of that is how it comes across. It can be a little bit proud. It's the lion, right? Leo the lion. There is this element of pride and arrogance, and part of what we were experiencing with the full moon in Aquarius was really kind of challenging us to either give in to those more base instincts or actually rise above that positive aspect to Neptune. Even though Neptune is in retrograde, it's giving us an opportunity to see where we can evolve on a more spiritual or a deeper level, a level that's not so me-centric, but is more thinking of collective conscious as a whole. So I like to start the readings off with an energy cleansing. We'll dive a little bit deeper, I should say. I don't know if that was a great transition, but we'll dive a little deeper into these energies that are presenting themselves. I like to start all my readings off with an energy cleansing just to kind of set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places that we might be feeling blocked or limited. And it's a really good time to set your own intention for the reading as well, especially if you have come in with something on your heart or mind, something that you do want Spirit to deliver messages to you around. Definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a great way to personalize these collective readings. Spirit is always looking to speak to us, and really all we have to do is ask and be open to receive the answer. Be open to receive the answer that really is authentically where we need to be at for self, for the betterment of self. I also offer a variety, speaking of betterment of self, I offer a variety of healing and wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in that realignment of self, your mind, your body, your soul, I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. Because when we're in alignment, that's really where we're operating out of our strength, out of our empowerment. You totally deserve that. I would love to help support in whatever way possible. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. I'm working on my website currently, hopefully up and running soon. And until then, just shoot me an email and I would love to get in touch. All right. Excuse me. With that in mind, let's get into it. Interesting energy coming through. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fears, doubts, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so we may see and understand the messages clearly and help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so there is kind of like some excitement brewing, and I feel like this is tied in with that first channeled message of momentum. I talked a little bit about the astrology this week, so it does have, but I feel like walking into this week, okay, there might even be things that are scaring you or making you feel a little bit uncertain about how things are going to unfold. Yes, we have choices that need to be made. But it's like it's not the way forward's unclear, but the results are unclear. There still is a little bit of second guessing or hesitancy, but I'm not picking up that it's putting you down. I'm actually picking up that you're like being, a confident individual, facing what you need to head on and making your decisions accordingly. And it does feel like I said, beginning of the week, it's not as tough of an energy. We're getting more peace and calm. And I feel like this is this opportunity to really process how things have been unfolding, especially given last week's intensity. Boundaries are the overarching energy. And I love it. It's an armadillo, which I feel like is just a really fabulous representation for protection of self. And it's not in this way to build these 10 feet high walls. It's not in a way to like keep people out 100%, but it's also like I'm hearing specifically, it is about protecting your energy resources right now and protecting whatever is very important to you, especially in places that you feel like people or situations might be poking and prodding a little bit. There might be some trying to get information, trying to get a reaction is what I'm hearing. And I feel like this is really beautiful. Beginning of the week, it's because the energy is not as volatile as maybe what we were experiencing last week. There is this energy or encouragement to be more of the observer. Yes, things are unfolding, but I feel like how the movement is happening forward, Spirit has your back. There is protection that has been popping up a lot for us. That reminder, it's always present. That protection's always present, right? But that reminder has definitely been popping up for us a lot lately. And it's giving you an opportunity to let go of the reins in a way where maybe in the past you felt like you've needed to have a certain amount of control. I feel like you have to gain a little bit more information beginning of the week with whatever you have going on, just to kind of better understand what your boundaries need to be, because certain things can't be dealt with immediately. Certain things are in the process of unfolding. It's not necessarily a destination point. And usually when we're in the waning phase, or when we are in the waning phase of the moon cycle, it is an opportunity to release, to let go, to get intimate is what I heard with self. I don't mean that in a weird way, just to like take time to be with self and really discover the things that your heart is longing for. You know, sometimes we just need to reconnect, like we reconnect with friends or close loved ones. We also need to give ourselves that same luxury, and it's very important. I feel like there's something, this is so funny because we got the Get Wild card in the same exact spot last week, midweek. So it does feel like you're going to have a little bit of a break to some capacity. Maybe certain things are going to get removed off your plate, or you're going to feel very inspired to do something that's like way out of left field. I feel like it's you taking a chance, but in this way of like, I don't care, you know, I mean, I don't see you being unsafe. I want to get that very clear, or, you know, just like be smart, make wise decisions for yourself always. But I see it as like throwing caution to the wind and really just kind of like, you know, F it, I'm going to like see where this lands me. And it feels fun. It feels very spontaneous. It feels very free. And I think you're able to do this because the energy's a little bit lighter. It's not going to be until like the end of the week. Actually, I'm going to shuffle a little bit more. It's not going to be until the end of the week that we're going to see that tension pop up. So I feel like you have a little bit of time beginning of the week to chill a little bit, you know, take a back seat, observe what's going on in your life. Don't necessarily have to uphold everyone else's situations, dynamics, or maybe you're just taking a little bit of a break is what I'm hearing. Yes, you're still maintaining your responsibilities, but it feels like in a way that you're not putting these heavy expectations on yourself. You're giving yourself a break as well. And that break is manifesting. Oh, nice. I like it. A lot of fun. It looks like fun. It looks like good things, right? Like you're giving yourself, I feel like it's heavily connected to what you are understanding about your life. And I feel like it is very much in alignment with like, making really solid decisions for yourself about what's worth your investment, what is worth your time and your energy. Because it does feel, this energy does feel like it's very intentional. It has that magician component with the threads of fate in the hands, right? I love that the wings and there's the crystal ball. And, you know, I'm hearing it as like how you are putting out your intention. We have to embody that. That's part of manifestation. It's not just wishing for something, but it's acting as if you already have that. And it feels like you have an opportunity to have some fun around that this week or later on this week based on kind of, because I'm not hearing that it's going to be an easy peasy. We'll see kind of how the tarot plays out. There are some things that do need to be done, but perhaps you're putting them on the back burner. The soul work is in the blocked energy. Either it's like you've been very plugged into your soul work, like you've been very plugged into healing, growth, evolution. You've been kind of focused on the mundane, the things that are building that foundation, that stability for your life. And that's not a bad thing, but sometimes when we're in that space and we get very singularly focused, it can take away from the aspects of life that feel magical, that feel fun. Because it does feel like you're taking a break from some of that, but it also feels like it's a good thing, you know? We can take, you know, sometimes a break is needed, especially if you haven't really been giving yourself that. Or if a lot of the decision or the situations, the difficulties that you've been dealing with have been more practical, this is time to be more flexible, and not in a way that you're giving in to things that you don't want to. Because I'm hearing this as like you're setting boundaries with the right people in the right way as a means of protection, as a means of maybe safeguarding, maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it fares for the week, okay? But beginning of the week, like I was talking about, there's more peace and calm. The tension that we're experiencing is very similar to the tension we were experiencing during the full moon. It's all these underlying layers of kind of, I don't know, preventing change, not wanting to see certain things manifest, hoping people dynamics are going to change or do the thing that we want them to do, struggling to see the reality of things. I like this. 4 of Swords comes out for you beginning of the week. So really make sure that you're taking time to get your peace and calm, especially in those moments that you have extra space to really love and nurture self. Whether you do want to do some extra self-care, I'm a huge proponent of that. But this is like, I'm very much attracted to the way that, or what's pulling my attention, what I'm seeing in this is like rest specifically, and not in the way of like scrolling on your phone or, really just kind of embodying that rest, like really maybe incorporating some peaceful practices throughout your day that keep you more grounded and focused in the present, in the 3D as well, like maybe not so much in the technology world, because I'm hearing it's a mechanism to kind of help turn down the volume on certain, chatter, not necessarily bad things, but it just feels like you do need, yes, an opportunity to give yourself a different vantage point around certain things. And I think in a way that it maybe has been kind of hard to do that in the past. Certain things seem a certain way, so we kind of want to, point the finger or accuse or whatever. And it looks like there's deeper layers that are being uncovered for you, and that's where Spirit's saying to be methodical. This has been a little bit hard for Mars because Mars wants certain movement and has not seen it in a long time, and it's been a lot of like, kind of like waiting for the perfect moments for things to unfold. And that's a little hard for Mars energy because Mars energy is very used to putting into the grunt and grind and making things happen. So with Mars tensely aspected to Venus, Venus is in Virgo right now, which is all about taking care of self. So the need to slow down, the need to nurture and support self, when all you want to do is see results happen, that can be a little bit difficult, but you're getting an opportunity to do it this week so you can switch up how something needs to be seen, how something needs to be looked at. We'll clarify as well what that is for you. But I'm going to pull the rest for the beginning of the week. And Mars is tensely aspected to Black Moon Lilith, so I think it's like easy to buy into certain illusions. There's our tower. Uh-oh. Well, this kind of, I'm not 100% surprised, I can't lie, because I feel like this is where that get wild card comes into play. There is a tower moment happening. I don't know. I think that this is something that you're either anticipating or expecting, and I feel like it is going to help you be better. It might be a little bit bittersweet. It might not be an easy energy to contend with. Let's see what this tower moment is first, just because we're on this. Okay, 4 of Cups. Eek. Taking something for granted, not seeing its potential, not seeing the opportunity with someone or something. The Knight of Wands. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy that has a lot of, this is something that's kind of putting their own agenda first. So it's not really based on your wants and needs for whatever reason. There's something around this where, let's see what the Knight of Wands wants from you. Okay, so we have Queen of Swords. We have, the Hangman again. Okay. And the Judgment. Okay. So something's being switched around. That's what I'm hearing. Like, I feel like a situation is kind of taking a turn. And it's taking a turn, I don't know, good, bad, I don't know. It looks like it's putting different options on the table that may help or hinder, but to me, the Seven of Cups is a lot about to be determined. Because in each of the cups, there's both good and bad. And it's all about what we choose. This feels like an energy that you're not quite certain how to internalize. You're not really certain how to receive it. What's being said is definitely new information. It's news to you. And it's news that does bring things to light, or it helps with some type of understanding. But why the Tower? Why the Tower? Seven of Swords. Someone didn't fully divulge. There's a truth that's coming out. Okay, Five of Swords. Eek. Someone really didn't want you to know something. Page of Pentacles. But I do think it's putting things into perspective. And it does look like it's filling in some type of gaps. And it looks like on some level, like I said, new choices help you understand. Like it's their turn. The ball's in their court is what I should say. Whether or not they understand that, I don't know, But it does look like they are coming towards you. And it is looking like they're trying to share some type of insight. How do you feel about it? Okay, we got the King of Cups. We have, the Lovers. It's making you really emotional. Emotional about the dynamic, emotional about the past, emotional about what has brought you to this point. It's putting you on the defensive. It's not a fun energy. And it's an energy that it looks like it's making you think. It looks like it's making you think. I don't see you making any decisions because it does. Towers usually signify something that's a big deal, right? Something that, I don't know if it's monumental change. And again, this is collective energy. So everyone's kind of variable of intensity is going to be a little bit different. But I'm picking up this energy more of like, not really, like it's enough to be a wake-up call, or it's enough to get you to stop in your tracks, to get you to reevaluate what you want to do next, i.e. Seven of Cups. But it does kind of inspire something within you. Like, I feel like this Get Wild is, well, let's see how it plays out energetically midweek. So I feel like this Get Wild card is, because it feels like whatever information you're receiving is a little hard. It's not all easy. It helps make sense of things, but then it also has some components that feel either like a little bit humbling or like I don't know. It might even just be in the way someone delivers this. Perhaps accusations or kind of saying things, talking about weaker points, deficits within your being, within your character, etc. And I think that there's some, aspects, like I said, that you don't love, but it also kind of propels you into this energy of like, okay, well, F it then. I am picking up this energy of maybe trying to prove something, not necessarily to them, but to yourself. We'll see. Let's see what the tarot says. We're seeing this with Venus tensely aspected to the vertex point. So some of this conversation might be because someone doesn't want something to change, or someone doesn't want something to end, or someone doesn't want you to have your boundaries up. Remember, with Mars and Venus tensely aspected to each other, there's fighting in partnerships, right? There's a difference of opinion. There's a difference of vantage point. One person wants it to move ahead. Maybe you try out different things with Mars and Gemini. Another person's like, no, let's take it slow. Or, let me just kind of think through and process. I need some time. I need some space, etc. Everyone's going to be a little bit different. But there's tension around how this is playing out. And Venus is tensely aspected to Neptune, so not really liking the things that are being said. Especially when it comes to the level of responsibility someone's taking for things. Like I said, it might be someone like kind of pointing the finger at you or minimizing their involvement, how they kind of handled things, etc. So it looks like I said, like you kind of have this F it attitude. Sorry, I'm trying not to be vulgar on camera, but I'm trying to, okay. But it's good. It gives you a little more like I feel like this is a confidence boost, especially with this 9 of Cups, because whatever something's saying, I don't know, like maybe this is something that used to get you down or stop you dead in your tracks. But at the same time, like I said, you're not really, it makes you emotional for what was or what could have been, but not necessarily what is present day. And it almost pushes you into this vibe, like I said, of you being very like, okay, well, screw it then. Like if I don't know, like where you think anything's possible or where you really have no, like giving no F's about something, that you finally have the confidence and the courage to do something about it, So communication is in the blocked energy. We'll clarify and see how that unfolds. The World, closing out of a cycle. Also abundance. Also everything in its right place, in the right way. I love this. And the Ace of Cups. It's like whatever you are like letting go and releasing, it's the exact thing that needs to be done in order to bring in this energy. And it is an energy of partnership, of relationship. This might even be someone or something that kind of like completely distracts you from your normal day-to-day routine. Maybe not in a great way. I mean, I'm not like harping on it. I'm all about like have some fun, be respectful to everyone, like your job or whoever you have to be respectful to. But it still has this vibe of like you kind of just, playing hooky or whatever, taking the day off, having a good time, letting loose, like putting your responsibilities on the shelf for a while and really just enjoying life, because whatever this is, whatever this release that's happening for you feels like very, like I said, it's pivotal. It's releasing something out. And in a way that, again, it might not even be something that you agree with, but it feels like this energy. I'm going to clarify that energy. 7 of Wands, like it's helping you see it. It's helping you empower yourself. Like I feel like you're letting go, you're releasing an expectation, an idea. We have the 3 of Pentacles. And no longer like needing that. You're feeling confident in where you're at. Like, I feel like even if this is a bad conversation or someone trying to fight or whatever, it feels like you're able to handle it with maturity and grace, especially if they are trying to poke or get a reaction or whatever. They might even come nice to you at first, and then it might switch. It might turn. It has an energy of, like, again, you're just not like, you're not vibing with whatever someone's trying to throw at your way. But it's also helping you see how you have been willing, how you have been showing up in the past. And I think it's in a way that kind of like puts someone in their place, like not in a bad way. I don't feel like you're trying to like be rude or like sit down. Maybe it is. I don't know, It has this vibe of you just being honest and truthful and like concise about what you're saying, and it's not how they're expecting things to go, not how they're expecting to receive it. But as a result, it opens up like a lot of beauty for you. And I love this. And here's the thing. I often talk about the tough, the challenging transits that we're going through, but there's like a lot of really good transits that are happening too. And this is more about our spiritual evolution. And sometimes that's where we're getting the most like thumbs up, where spirit really is like having our back in the places that we choose to be better versions of ourselves, in the places that we're not letting the same habit pattern people bring us down or dim our light, diffuse our energy, etc. That we're actually like having boundaries that are honorable and respectful of self. And we're not like losing self in the midst of, you know, some of the chaos that people, situations are throwing our way. And it feels like it's paying off. Whatever work you're doing, it's paying off this week, or it feels really good. Like, I don't know. I think you're just letting go of some amount of expectation or responsibility that you've been putting on yourself for quite some time. And it feels good. Like, you don't feel like you have to play the game, or that you don't have to play the game in someone else's way anymore. That you can actually just like play it in your own way that is authentic to self, and not in a harmful, when I'm talking about games, I'm talking about the game of life, not like manipulation and control tactics. So it's like you're able to show up as your own unique individual player and play in that way and still like win in areas that you need to, or like that honor you, you know, and validate kind of what your wants and needs are. And that might be a little bit difficult and challenging for some people around you. It does look like there is some pushback. Because again, I do see energies, or, you know, for some this could be multiple. It doesn't have to be. But definitely energies coming towards you that do want certain things. There's a lot of choices. We're getting a lot of twos as well. 2 of Wands, 2 of Pentacles with the 4 of Wands. So family or just close relationships can be on the forefront this week. And again, it's like I'm seeing like a lot of conversations. And it doesn't necessarily feel like they're all helpful. It might be like conversing about the wrong issues and not about the right issues, and that's where it gets a little confusing, or, you know, whatever. Let's see what this Page of Swords is. Okay, we have the King of Wands, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So beginning of the week, we have the Knight of Wands. Midweek, we have the King of Wands. Maybe someone trying to sell themselves to be a little bit better than, you know, and the 9 of Pentacles. Someone's really heartbroken. Someone's needing space. And it does look like maybe some of the conversations that are being had, again, are hard for certain individuals. Let me get some information on who this King of Wands is to you. Who is this to the collective? Interesting. 5 of Wands, someone who's creating conflict. We got conflict. We got Ace of Wands. Someone's kind of out for their, this is like a very combative energy. Someone who's out for their own, you know, and it looks like it's in efforts to make change happen. Like this is someone who's just fighting to like get you to leave or to get you to react or whatever. It's like they want to have an excuse as to why they're going to be making the next steps or the next choices that they are. It does feel like, I don't know, they might not even be communicating with you, or if they do, it's a different kind of conversation, and perhaps like, ooh, Justice, the 3 of Cups, and the 10 of Wands. It looks like someone's complaining. Like they're complaining about what you're asking for. And again, this might even be aspects of like where people are not being really honest with self, you know, not doing the soul work within themselves. Because it looks like someone's not really vibing with what you're doing or how you're doing it. They might even be like gossiping about you, or just kind of doing some like, you know, it just feels like bitching and complaining, to be honest. Like saying like, oh, collective's not being fair. I'm trying X, Y, and Z, and they're not doing this, and blah, blah, blah. Like it just feels very accusatory. It feels like a lot of blame. It feels like exactly what you've been trying to get away from in the very beginning of the reading, right? The beginning of the week. You know what energy to stay away from, and you're actively choosing to do it. but you're also kind of watching this all play out and trying to like gather information. Yes, but I think at the same time, you're like, it's a little, again, like I keep getting that, like that effort, like you're just are over it, over and done with it. And I feel like whatever ways it has been really heavy or repressive or whatever for you, that's that aspect that really does, you just want to play. You just want to play. You want to have fun. You don't want to have to deal with all the BS, you know. The moon end of the week is tensely aspected to Venus. So at that point, there are a lot of feelings and emotions around choices that are being made. It's not an easy energy to understand or compartmentalize. Most of the tension is not necessarily the most important transits that are happening. If anything, the things that are impacting the most are positive, are actually helping. Chiron, I forgot to mention too, Chiron goes into retrograde beginning of the week. It's positively aspected to the North Node at the end of the week. And the North Node is all about like our karma, our evolution, and Chiron is all about healing of self. It is the wound healer. So it helps us do that growth and evolution. And so it's like in our relationships, in our dynamics, like if we can have healthy boundaries and healthy communication, that's all we can do, right? And that's really going to get us the better results, because either people are going to get on board with what we're asking, or they're going to like throw a temper tantrum, and that's giving you your response right there. That's giving you the knowledge and information right there. And so it does feel like end of the week, it's like I've done what I can do. I don't really want to sit around and feed into this energy. There might even be a lot of commotion going on around you, and you're just opting out to just like enjoy life a little bit. Like maybe you're even tuning things out. Maybe you're putting your phone in airplane mode, or, you know, just choosing not, that's kind of how it was coming through in the beginning of the reading. You're just choosing not to commune with people and situations that you just don't want to commune with, you know? You're making choices. You're making active decisions. And we saw the Wheel of Fortune pop up for us here. Right now, Jupiter is in Leo, and it's a really good time to like draw things into self, because Jupiter in Leo is wealth, it's abundance through our charisma. Even if you don't consider yourself a charismatic person or an extrovert for that matter, it doesn't even matter, right? Because you want to attract people that respect and honor who you authentically are, you know? But that's also like just by you putting yourself out there, you know, doing something that interests you, signing up for a class, doing, you know, a workshop, whatever, joining a group that does a certain activity that you're interested in. That's how you're going to attract and bring in those dynamics. And it looks like that's what you're doing. You're making some active plans for yourself. It feels good. You feel free. There is a little bit of throwing caution to the wind this weekend, which I really like for you. I feel like you need that, or maybe that's just like my own opinion. I don't know. Or maybe that's what I need, I should say. But it definitely has this vibe of like letting go and being free and feeling it. Like, you know, you're taking the weight off. You're taking off the responsibility. And it's hard to completely ignore it. 5 of Cups is in the blocked energy because it still is there. There still are things that are lingering. Not all is cleared up. It doesn't feel like there's any resolve to this situation that's happening this week. And if in some ways that makes it a little bit more unsettling, because it's not giving you a lot of information to kind of fill in the blanks, like I was saying in the very beginning, about what the results of certain choices are going to be. If anything, it's leaving things ambiguous. We're seeing that a lot with Neptune in Aries in retrograde. We have a lot of retrogrades. I forgot to mention that, but I've been talking about it a lot. So, but just as a side note, yeah, there is a lot of emotion here, and that's going to be the challenge, you know? And I think, again, that's the thing. Like, just because certain aspects, well, this makes a lot of sense with the King of Cups. And we got the King of Cups earlier. It's just like how people are doing things. That's what it feels like. It's how things are being executed. It's how things are being said, or the passive aggressive behaviors, or whatever it may be. And it does feel like you've been in a time where you've kind of had to endure a lot of this stuff. And it's not anything new to you. What I love about the King of Cups, the message is he's, no matter what the waves of life, the emotions of life, the roller coaster, whatever they bring up, no matter what they bring up, he's able to ride those waves fluidly, as long as he's in his upright form, in his higher vibrations. And that's why it's so important to not, kind of sticking with that Venus energy, Venus and Virgo in the beginning of the week, taking care of self, investing in that, getting rest and nurture and restoration where you need to, doing those practices that allow you to just move slowly through the day. I also heard someone talking about it. I really liked this perspective on essentially like elongating your time, or allowing that time to kind of go longer. Does that make sense? Like stretching out a minute, or an hour or a day, like expanding time essentially. And she was talking about how part of that is just being present in the moment. And I was like, that's pretty cool. I like that idea. I think there's a lot of things that we can do to kind of amplify maximum efficiency, minimum effort. I know that I personally receive a lot of that when my meditation practice is consistent. I love Transcendental Meditation specifically because, well, in my opinion, there's a lot of scientific backed evidence, which is always helpful, but it's one of the most, this meditation form that has easily stuck with me. It's easy, it's natural, it's a way to calm, align the mind, the body, the soul. It like does wonders for our physiology, and it's that value of expanding our consciousness, our ability to maximize our potential. So I think that that's huge. And I think especially when we are in positions where, whether the emotions are being provoked outside of us or within us, we need those spaces that we can kind of just let go and, release. And I think part of that is happening through play, but also make sure that you're not necessarily avoiding certain things, because it does almost look like maybe it's okay at first, but then it feels a little bit more heavy and emotional as the weekend progresses, or as you're kind of just like maybe processing the conversations or what has happened, and like, oh my gosh, that's kind of how it feels, like, oh my gosh, or sometimes when we get too stuck into someone else's narrative or even our own narrative, right? 5 of Cups, the message is being too focused on the past or crying over spilt milk, which essentially is just like, okay, like, life happens, stuff happens, we all participate, whether we like it or not, there is a certain level of responsibility for everyone involved. And when we're able to kind of like operate from that state of being, it really kind of just releases some of the tension, some of the stress, some of the difficulty that we often bring into dynamics when everyone's pointing the finger. And I don't necessarily see you doing that. It does look like it's happening a little bit more towards you, or you're coming into these dynamics where you feel like people are making certain accusations or someone specific, it's going to be a little bit different. But at the same time, whatever is being said, it does kind of hit home. It's not something that feels 100% comfortable. It's also giving you some, like, it's spicing up your life a little bit. I like that too. I feel like that's fun. I think it's fun that you need, especially for your heart, for your soul. Bodily wisdom. I love this. Listen to your body's subtle cues. It holds the answers you seek. And, a lot of times when people deliver messages in a way that's like hurtful or demeaning or whatever. Like, we really just kind of need to check in with self and really question, like, is that really true about me? Or is this just someone else's projections, you know? Or maybe that's how they're internalizing it. And sometimes it's hard. It's hard to like understand that something might perceive you in that way, but it doesn't make it your responsibility, you know? I mean, if you're like overtly doing what someone's accusing you of, then maybe, but I don't think that that's what the vibe is. This feels more like someone's projection, or they're blaming you for things that they chose, like it as a way to justify something. Well, because you did this, I was in this place, and so this is why I chose what I chose. You know, it's not really ownership. It's not responsibility. And it feels like it's not getting anyone anywhere, right? If anything, it's just like you going like, oh, okay. But then it's also really clarifying something that's helping you just be like, okay, well, you know, fuck it. Sorry. Just say it, Deborah, after, 500 times of not saying it. So really listen to your body. I feel like this is very pivotal, especially beginning of the week. Again, emphasizing the rest, the peace and calm you need. Double confirmation. The answer lies within. Listen to your intuition's quiet voice. This is really important. Again, where like any type of meditation, unification type practice, you can go into prayer. You can spend some time out in nature, just sitting peacefully, sitting quietly. All those things really just kind of help us tune into what our intuition is trying to communicate to us, what our body's trying to communicate to us about the situations that we're navigating. And again, especially when someone's trying to like take some low blows or blow the belt or whatever, you know, it helps put things into perspective. Divine wisdom flows through your intuition. Trust it and act in on it. Which it does look like you're doing. I feel like this is more spur of the moment. It's not necessarily something that you're like pre-planning, because I feel like whatever you're trying to pre-plan, it's more like, how can we better the dynamic? And then after whatever this is, it's like, you're just like, why? You know? And I think that's hard for someone. I think there's a little bit of a fence around that inner strength. Intuition thrives in your inner strength. Trust yourself more, 100%. And it also feels like whatever information you are receiving, like you kind of already knew, you know, and it's stuff that I feel like is being confirmed. And again, that can be a blessing and a curse, right? But it's also spirit saying like, see, you could have trusted your intuition. You could have taken some time to listen to yourself, listen to your gut instincts, maybe not gotten in this deep or whatever. And not that I like to play that game, shoulda, woulda, coulda. It's more about reflecting and processing through and understanding what you don't want to repeat in the future versus saying, shame, you shouldn't have done that. If anything, that's what you're having a really hard time getting out of this week, because of whatever someone's trying to provoke or whatever they're just like naturally provoking by what they say, how they say, etc. But again, remember, you have the opportunity to take the bait or not, you know? You can sit and listen to someone's negative opinions or not. You can say thank you. And again, it goes back to that story I was telling a few readings ago. Thank you for delivering my karma. You know, you can say whatever you want to say to me. Karma from a past life. Maybe I don't deserve it in the present moment, but I'm still going to receive it, transmute it, and move on with my life. So I'm not holding on to it in a way that it's going to weigh me down present day and then also try to inform the decisions that I'm making in the future. So a little heavy, but it also feels hopeful. And I really kind of like your effort energy this week. So Godspeed. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you found messages that resonated here for you. Definitely drop comments below if you did. I always love to hear. I love to connect. I love to engage. I so appreciate all the love and support to the channel, and all those aspects really help me out. So thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you have a fabulous week. I will be live Thursday morning And then we'll upload some videos throughout the week. So I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon. All the love, all the blessings. Have a good evening.